Hi guys, welcome back to Three Faces in the Dark. This is the first time we are on our bi-weekly schedule. Hopefully, this will be better for all of us during the mid leagues. So I guess let's have a round of what we have been doing recently. Let's start with BL. What do you think?
All right. So, as of recent, I think about 1 week ago, I've just finished my challenges, 40-40. So, for the past few days, I've been thinking of what builds to continue playing because as of last week, when I finished my challenges, I actually managed to complete my Molten Strike Poison Pathfinder that I spoke about playing it, I think, back in week 2 or week 3 of the podcast. So I finally got um, the time and currency to actually play that and eventually use that character to finish my challenges. So currently, I think as of yesterday, I actually brainstormed a new idea. I wanted to play Forbidden Right for a while already. So I thought this would be the league where I use some of my currency to play a juice up Forbidden Right character. I don't think it will be because currently all my theory craft has been in my mind. I haven't really got the gear out or to even test the build. So after the podcast today, I'll level up my character, and if we are doing the podcast in another 2 weeks' time, I will give you guys a report on how the character works. But currently, yeah, I just have a idea on how to play the character, and as of now, I wouldn't want to leak too much because there are so many things that I have to craft and buy. So, um, I mean, we can talk about the late league economy. I don't think it's really that good, but yeah, I think we can leave that for a bit more discussion later. All right.
Right, actually, you mentioned Mahu Zoftel's machinations the last time we were around. It seems that it dropped in price recently. Will you be reviving your build because of that?
I already bought the shoe back when the price dropped. So as of the last podcast, I did report that the shoe there was a price surge with the shoe, right? The shoe actually went up all the way to 30 divine. And like I say, the main reason why the shoe went up was because of the build of the week, and also the fact that Mahusoto is a very obscure item because it only drops from Trial Master originally, or you can get it from the reliquary key. So there's really not much sources of drops for this shoe. And it being featured on Build of the Weeks actually made the demand of the shoe higher. Yeah. So when the demand of the shoe goes high and the supply is low, naturally there will be a price surge. So I wasn't too happy with the price, but I think I bought mine at about 18 divine. So to be honest, I am okay with the price drop currently. Yeah.
What about you, Joseph?
Uh, so uh, I have stopped doing Dota, right? I have played a new build, co-rig build, right? And then basically I spend everything on that build lah. So my 200 plus divine plus the Mageblood went into it. Then currently I would say other than your nonsense Uber Cyrus, Uber Maven that cuts off your life regen, every other thing else you trivialize it. You know, like when you're mapping and then when you kill a pack of mobs and then you always see like this uh glowy ball thing that will explode. Like there's a fire version, there's cold version, whatever, right? I can just stand in the middle and do nothing though.
I can also do that with the Defiance of Destiny.
Yeah, so that made mapping a lot more enjoyable. Right. And yeah, as in, so now I'm slowly clearing my challenges. Then recently I just finished the ritual challenges. Then ritual was quite kind to me. I had a zero cost divine, and I got a mirror shard from it as well. Right. Then now I'm trying to finish my the rest of the challenges. Currently it's the breaches, delirium, legion. Yep.
Well, I guess that's left with me. For me, I didn't actually play that much Path of Exile. I did try the Fire Burst build. I got the double cooldown reduction tattoos with the Warrior's Tail, so I brought the Fire Burst down to 1 second. Even then, it didn't feel very comfortable, and because of how Herald of Lightning requires you to reapply shock. Um, Turns out that if Fire Burst reapplies shock to the same target, you don't actually have double the. You don't actually reproc Herald of Lightning. So that was something a bit lame, and I didn't really expect. Uh, I think you can actually work around it by suggested by the Joseph with Lightning Conduit. You could probably also do it with reduced shock duration, which might be less damage. And it's not like you get that much damage of Fire Burst unless you invest a lot into the build, which I literally have no idea how to do it. So because I'm mostly using budget builds. Then other than that, I was sick for most of last week, and I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. But this is not a podcast for Baldur's Gate 3, sadly. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so after our whole rounds of introduction of what we are doing for the past week, I mean, as a fellow REAP enjoyer, okay, I want to ask Joseph, so do you consider REAP as a all-rounder build? Like, how do you feel about REAP? Will you be playing REAP in the future?
I mean, the skill itself is cool to use, but I think like the setback is actually needing awaken, spell, echo, and cascade. If not, I don't think Reap will feel good. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so um I mean, I've also wanted to play REAP, but this league, I think we are here to try new things. Actually, I've been trying to think of a new build, and I welcome all build ideas because currently I think I have a surplus of tattoos around because we have been playing Dota for like, I think 2 or 3 weeks straight. So we definitely have a surplus of tattoos. So we may want to so I would like to hear if you guys have any build suggestions for us. For me, especially because I'm still thinking. I'll be making my Forbidden Right build, and after that, who knows? Maybe if because as we all know, the league is going to extend all the way until December, and GG did mention that they will be hosting some events nearer towards the end of the league. I'm not sure how to feel about that because generally for events, it's normally things like Endless Delve, Endless Heist, and who knows, maybe next time we have Endless Dota, right?
Oh, there was also one event that was the hardcore level to level 50 for the mystery box. I did that once. Wow. It's the first few level is the most excruciating. Yeah, to try to level without gear in hardcore.
Especially since they buffed Act 1, right? So it's really annoying. But if you need to survive Act 1, there's actually you should equip armor. Because armor actually reduces ROAS by a lot and the damage by a lot. And you also should do the old school style of dual sapphire rings.
Yeah, the Sapphire Rings, like, you need to know Nessa is doing cold damage, so you need Sapphire Rings and all that nonsense, right?
Imagine actually playing the game. I mean,
we are all softcore enjoyers lah. So can you imagine? No, and that one is not just hardcore. I think Joseph mentioned that event is actually hardcore gauntlet. Hardcore gauntlet also has extra mods, like I think gain as extra, maybe attack speed, cast speed, if I'm not wrong. It's not just hardcore. Because I clearly remember, I think I play past Mervel, and then I died somewhere, and then I don't want to play already.
Oh, yeah. I think there was also a Ruthless event as well. I think I also remember playing it to 50. Yeah.
I don't think it's a ruthless event, but it's a gold event. The monsters drop gold. You use the gold to buy from the vendors. I think that is a bit pseudo ruthless, but it's not really, because you still get currency. Because from what I understand, ruthless is ruthless. You literally just play what you drop, and things don't actually drop. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the goal, you don't actually also. It doesn't really enable much things because the the prices in the shop is also all crazily overpriced. Yeah.
actually, that makes it quite interesting because it sucks, right? But Ruthless was mostly Guardian, if I remember correctly. So if we have this kind of weird leaks come out that it's like super poverty, then Guardian might actually be meta.
I think the current ruthless ladder is dominated by guardians. If you go and take a look at the ruthless ladder, at the same time, I think the Go event was just a test, a beta test for them to do PoE2 testing. Because if you remember, I don't know if you guys still remember when we watched the trailer in ExileCon itself, PoE2 X actually gave you coins for you to buy from the shop vendors. But beyond shop vendors, once they go into like PoE2 mapping, then it's normal currency really. Yeah. So I believe the Go event previously was made as a beta for PoE2. They were testing to see the concept whether players are receptive of Go coins, and I believe that now that it's clear that they want to separate PoE2 and PoE, I think it generally doesn't matter. But I think GG still have to be careful on how they implement PoE2 into PoE1. Now that it's separate, I think both games can actually have different trajectory. Like you want to PoE2 to be a more hardcore experience for veterans from PoE1 to jump from one game to the other. I think that's fine. But PoE1 shouldn't be nerfed all the way to how PoE2 visions is supposed to be like. That's how I think it's supposed to be.
Okay, I would like to bitch about the league being delayed to December. So then, like we all know, like previously when we have league launches in December, staff GGG staff would take Christmas leave and all that stuff, and then like things doesn't get fixed until January. So previously, I think there was already like this issue, and then they already push the league launch to January. Then I don't know why now they can come back and tell you that we're gonna push the league from November to December, knowing that this is gonna happen all over again. So I think the league will only, and they say that it is a ambitious league, which I'm not really looking forward to it.
Okay, the way I see is that the last time there was an end of the year ambitious league, it was Hive, and we don't talk about how bad PoE was during Hive, because back then the default currency is still Exile, but if you remember, Exile, that league, nobody wants to use Exile to trade, people rather trade Chaos, which is a very weird thing, because Hive was giving too many Exiles. Okay, we don't talk about that, but you must remember that they didn't give the twins contract. The content wasn't finished. So Heist itself to me is a very ambitious league because it came with a lot of voice acting, a lot of lore, a lot of story, a lot of new characters. So to me, I think that would be a definitely very ambitious league. And I am very afraid when I saw the news post that this coming league was ambitious as well. I don't mind GG's vision for ambition, but currently doing it on a December league means that at least for the first 2 weeks you'll get fixes, but it's going to be a fast fix, and who knows, there might be game breaking bug that will only be fixed by January, like what Joseph has mentioned just now.
Actually, right, about Heist, I think you guys haven't pointed out like one of the largest flaws of release Heist which is if you killed monsters, the alert level will go up. Yes, that was the first implementation of Heist, and it was only after January where they reverted that change, I think. Right, and people were complaining and dropping the league mechanic. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Heist was a separate endgame to what people were playing, I think it made it that way. It was fine. People actually don't mind because people can still map. But just remembering back during Heist, there wasn't the Syrian Exarch and the Eaters of World content yet. So the mapping that we were doing, it was the four watchstones. I don't know if you guys still remember, like the maps were separated into regions, right? And yeah, so maybe back then we take mapping as a more simple thing, but nowadays mapping is actually, I think on a certain level it's fun if you are doing content that you like, right? Not necessarily content that makes the most money, but content that you like to play. Yeah.
Also, right, I'm not sure if you guys remember Metamorph. I'm not sure when it came out, but I know when Metamorph first came out, you had to pick up every single organ by hands because Chris also wanted you to feel the weight of the organs.
Yeah. So Metamorph is directly 1 year before Heist. It's actually a 3.9 league. So 3.9 is exactly the league that came after the first ExileCon. So it was a very ambitious league. Same thing. They introduced all the conquerors. So it was nice content to play. People didn't mind that. But people didn't bother with Metamorph until the fix came, where the organs were auto picked up. Yeah, because people didn't want to. Oh, people are okay if there are only 5 organs to pick up. Then it makes sense. But if you have played Metamorph, you will know that certain parts of the Metamorph you can have a lot, and maybe just for one part it only drops 1. So without and normally it's the eye. If you don't have the eye, you actually cannot assemble the Metamorph. So can you imagine you clear the whole map and you don't find the organ because the monster happens to be in some dark corner and you haven't killed it? That was why people didn't want to play Metamorph. But after the fix, I think it's generally okay. Yeah, and Metamorph till this day remains a very niche content because everybody needs Catalyst, but nobody likes to farm Metamorph for some reason. And do you know that Metamorph is actually one of the best ways to get definitive divine? Because there is a lot of it's a unique monster and it actually comes with a lot of rarity and quantity. So without much magic find or rarity gearing on your character, actually Metamorph is a decent way to get divines, whether is it in the lab or in the maps. Yeah.
I mean, up to now, there's also still the issue of when you get the Atlas passive to reassemble another Metamorph. And then people were complaining that there's like only one set of eyes. And then people cannot assemble the second set of Metamorph.
About that, I think it's less likely nowadays, because if you run a Metamorph strat, right, you'll generally run a triple boss or double boss map, right? So, or else, from what I remember, if you don't have a boss organ, you cannot have the glowy, the full vial. So without the full vet, you cannot get the organs. And most of the time, if you run a Metamorph strat, you want the organs. Yeah.
There's also the issue with the organs dropping. Like, it's not totally, how do I put this? Same weighting. So like you can have like 5 lungs and 0 eyes, right?
Just for context, so if you do your Metamorph strat in a map like Canyon, so I don't know if you remember Canyon, the boss is a chicken and a ball, right? It's a chicken and a ball. So the chicken only almost always exclusively drop eyes and one other organ, I think liver or something. Whereas the pig always drop the other, maybe the heart and something else. So right, yeah, it's mostly the humanoids monster that drops the eye. Right. So for this league, if you do multi bosses, I would recommend City Square over let's say Race Course. Race Course also has 3 monsters, but Race Course only has 1 humanoid. 2 of them are animals. And from my experience in Metamorph, the humanoids are the one that is generating the eyes. So with City Square, you got 3 humanoids. I don't know if you can consider the last one as a humanoid, because it's basically like a monster already, like the crawling monster. But at least 2 of them are humanoids. And if the map has a map boss that is humanoids, generally you are more likely to drop eyes. Yeah, but that is purely experience. I don't know if this is true. I haven't played, like I never record down my organ drops data from 300 map of Metamorph. Nobody has time for that. Or maybe somebody do, but yeah. But I don't know. From the way I see it is that if I want eyes, I generally target the maps with humanoids. Yeah. So that is my tip lah. My tip for farming Metamorph. Yeah. And of course, if you are farming hardcore Metamorph, you want to roll your map twin boss. So you have six bosses to pick the organs from. So right, recently, have you guys seen the bug fixes? There was a very big patch, I think maybe about a week ago. Inside the bug fixes, I saw one thing and I thought maybe it would be cool to play a build, because if you look at the bug fixes, one of the line actually says that Blazing Salvo, the return from Blazing Salvo has been fixed. So previously, Blazing Salvo, right, if you shoot and it fogs or whatever, it reacts with the terrain, it flies, and when it returns, right, it actually returns, it doesn't hit anything, but it just flies all the way. This is very obvious when you look at the Crucible leagues. People in the Crucible leagues that are playing Blazing Salvo, right, you will see that their Blazing Salvo are flying everywhere, not hitting anything. So apparently this behavior has been fixed, and the returning projectile actually returns. So obviously I'm talking about Blazing Salvo Nimis. I think there is a build that you can play around this. So that is something that I may want to try after my Forbidden Rite, but I am still tinkering with what skills I want to play. Okay, then so as to what I've been doing recently, I've been trying to think of builds to play. So finally I have decided to play for Forbidden Rite. But before that, I wanted to actually play Scorching Ray Totems. So I bought a Soul Mentor with +3 to gem, or +2 to duration gems and +1 to socket gems. I wanted to make a Giga Scorching Ray build, but I realized I actually can't buy the weapon that I want to buy, and the shield was a pain in the ass to buy. So I 6-link the chest and resold the chest for double the price. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing recently. I've just been looking at the market. Should we talk about the prices of things?
Oh, actually, I have a question. Since you guys are using like giga builds and stuff, right? What do you guys do with the giga builds? Like clear your challenges? I thought some of you guys have already cleared the challenges on like the weaker builds.
Yeah, so like I say, I just recently finished my challenges. So I did the last few challenges with my Molten Strike character. So is it strong? Yes. Is it stronger than what I had made previously, like my EK Inquisitor? I think about the same, but it's definitely more tanky. Um, I would say that. So the question is actually a everlasting question in PoE. So you have farmed so much money, you have farmed Mageblood. What do you do next? Your challenges are done. What do you do next? What do you do next happens to always be a question that people ask their friends or even themselves during the mid league or towards the late of league. What do you do in PoE then? Some people just take a break and then just to prevent the burnout, they will just stop the league. They will maybe just give their currency, they will gamble their currency away, who knows. But for me, I think the only thing that keeps me playing with the league is first, it just so happens that more recently the leagues, which with each league passing, it feels like I earn more currency each league. I'm not sure if this league is a outlier due to inflation, but I think this league is one of the league where I think I have close to almost maybe 2 mirrors worth of gear, and in general I don't usually earn that much. Yeah, so maybe with this kind of currency I may want to test different builds, because like I say, the builds in PoE is only limited by your money, not by your creativity. Like, I mean, sure, you can always make cheap builds and good builds with low budget, but having expensive gear, generic expensive gear like Mageblood and things, will expand what you can do with creatively. Yeah, so for this league, the only thing that is keeping me playing is definitely not Dota, because I played about 3 weeks of Dota straight away, and even though I enjoyed the gameplay, I think it became monotonous, and eventually, if I play any more Dota, I will burn out, and I don't even feel like playing the game anymore. So I stopped. I stopped at my 2,700 coin mark, and I stopped Dota totally, and I play the general content again. And with this mindset, I've been trying to think of unique builds to play that who knows might get nerfed next league. And also at the same time, I also want to make a pure tattoo build, but currently I still can't think of a skill that I really want to play. And especially I think it's a very cool idea to build around some of the journey tattoos. Not just the life, the mana and the ES one. There was another one that I saw that increases your recovery rate per tribe. I think that one is worth to explore, because there is currently 10 tribes of tattoos around, and that one gives 2% recovery rate of all things, life, ES, mana, based on every tribe. What if you put that into a Warrior's Hill? It becomes 40%. If you have all 10 tribes tattoo, 40% life recovery rate, ES recovery, and mana recovery is actually very broken. Yeah, so I've been thinking of trying to abuse that, but currently still to no avail. So if you guys have any idea, I'll be willing to entertain any form of inspiration.
Actually, right, on the topic of tattoos, we actually saw 100% spell damage reduction through spell suppression with the new loyalty tattoos. I think it's a green tattoo that stacks depending on how many. It sounds like it's a loyalty of Ahuana tattoo. So what it does is that it increases the damage reduction of spell suppression if you have suppressed a spell recently, based on the number of Ahuana tattoos you have. Ramakotra, is it? Ramakotra tattoos which you have. So some guy has showed it in killing bosses because bosses are mostly spells. So he's actually almost immune to most bosses. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, all these tattoos only proc when you are in the presence of a unique monster. So it's, I guess, maybe you're trivializing mapping, right? And then it's only used for boss fights.
Actually, I think the intention was to use in Tota, cause like in Tota there's always a unique mob. Yeah.
I mean that can be a thing, but I've looked at all the loyalty tattoos just to see if I can build anything special. I think as of now, like what Bias has talked about, the loyalty tattoo of Apuana, loyalty tattoo of Mata, which is the flask guy, and then the loyalty tattoo of I believe Combs. Combs is Totem. So there is really only a few that I feel that is relevant to the current game. Some of them gives like energy skill recharge, which I don't get it because the proc is because you have recharged ES recently. The proc is a bit difficult to actually activate. Yep.
Because I used to be an energy shield recharge enjoyer. Zergil's Crank will work. And also some very weird interactions if you have there's this quiver or bow that increases soul strike. Yeah. Some people used to use soul strike with old school wicked ward in order to be strong. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interaction that I also know lah, because last time I always play CI build, so I roughly know. CI builds, you either leech or you recharge it back. You generally don't rely on recovery because recovery through Zealot's Oath is just not as reliable as recharge or even leech, right? So yeah, there's really a few of the chieftain tattoos that I feel can be used in the current game. It's cool to know that there's something like this, especially the flask one. I want to talk about the flask one, right? The flask one, I think the proc is when you actually reach low life, which is easy, right? Let's be honest. If you're running Petrified Blood, low life is not really a problem. But the buff gives you 20 flask charge every second. Is there a flask that you can keep pressing that actually helps your gameplay? I don't remember such a flask exists, so I don't understand how you want to use that tattoo.
Worm Blaster.
I think that might be a thing. Yeah, so maybe you can play around that. Wasn't the new build of the week a Worm Blaster build? It is what, right? The guy has like 5 Worm Blast Worm Blast. Basically he summoned the skeleton, and because the skeleton uses he has a belt that has a flask mod to use for minions, they will use the flask mods for you, and because it uses that, so the moment he summons a skeleton, all his flasks will trigger at the same time, so all the worm flasks will come out with like what, 9 worms, 9 or 10 worms, 40 worms, and he immediately frost blink inside to do Herald of Ice Shatters. I don't know how strong that is, but to me it seems like a very scuff way to play the build. Yeah, but if you combine that with the loyalty tattoo of Mata, who knows, you can get unlimited flash charge at least for that period of time. So you can keep blasting. Yeah. I'm not sure if there will be any applicable situation for that, but yeah, I think Worm Blaster is actually one of the ways that you can use that tattoo, because as a Mageblood enjoyer, I only have one flask that I can only press. All the other flasks are automatically activated. So I was struggling quite hard to understand how I should use that loyalty tattoo.
Actually, do you get flash charges of the worms?
Can't really remember. They did some changes, reiteration to the worm flask. I think because like previous worm blaster caused the changes to worm blasters, right? Yeah.
But to be honest, worm because of the fact that worm reading jar is actually a hybrid flask. So if you realize you take the mastery that increases life and mana flask. Actually it counts at two flask charge. So just that mastery itself already give you 2 flask charge. And there is a notable next to charisma that gives you life and mana. You just take the whole cluster. Generally every 4 seconds you can actually get quite a lot of flask charge for your reading jar. Yeah. So do you really need mata? I'm not sure. But it's definitely an idea to build around the loyalty tattoo.
Oh yeah, talking about the Total League, I have also stopped Total because it's getting too monotonous, right? And then like for my build, I just with all the divine that I've earned, I've just sort of instead of crafting my own gear, I've sort of just mostly bought out everything that I need. Yeah.
Yeah, so you basically just play the game on easy mode, right? Not actually crafting gear, but I mean, to each of his own. If you are slogging hard with Dota, I think you should be rewarded with instant gratification. You should just get your gear and play.
I don't want to hear easy mode from somebody who isn't playing SSF. Come on.
I mean, I don't think Dota is a very hard to play mechanic, which is why a lot of people are enjoying Dota because it fits the playstyle of just going in, just put your void sphere down, channel the totems and win the game, right? So um the way I see it is that it's an easy game mode to play if you are willing to sink in some time to understand how the league works. So yeah, why not? And do you know that the max core tattoos are at 3D per pop? I wanted to build something with Aegis and using the Dex tattoo to make the UI tag. Then I realized everything is 3D. I immediately dropped the idea, even though I got the money to spend, right? But the idea is that everybody has been trying to abuse the core tattoo. I'm just not really going with the conventional flow. I want to play PoE like how I like my builds cheap and good. Yeah. So I've been trying to play around lightning rest. Lightning max rest lightning is about 10C per pop, by the way. Yeah. So as compared to the core rest is three diff because obvious very abuse case if you put at the shadow jewel area with UI, you can get 3 max rest there. With a warrior's tail at above ranger, you can actually get 6 rest there easily. So um that total up can give you 9 rest already. So if you're using melding, you just need to solve another 10, right? And let's not pretend you're not going to use purity of ice, right? If you're using purity of ice, you actually only need to and with Aegis, everything is there already. Then next is the max fire rest, right? Max fire rest is actually I think 1.5 diff. It's not as expensive as the core, but it's still rather expensive. Yeah. Then there is the obvious outlier, which is the max lightning rest. I think people should play around that more. I think it's severely underused. But yeah, we just got to play around with what we can do with the tattoos lah. And the reason why I want to play with the lightning rest tattoo is because power charge tattoo also comes with one lightning rest. So if you can play a power charge build with lightning rest as your melding target, I think it's going to be interesting as well. because you're scaling from one tattoo, you're scaling both things. Yeah, but I'm not sure what skills to play actually. Maybe I'll do Stormcore. Stormcore has always been one of my favorite skills to play. It's just that Stormcore is like what Joseph has mentioned about Reap. It suffers the same thing as Reap. Without Spell Cascade, it's actually not good. Right. And Stormcore has even more restrictions. Stormcore actually need less duration, which is a lousy support gem.
Yeah, so like because I'm using my build to clear challenges, right? Then wow, the div per hour is like rubbish. Like since playing the build for I think about a week, my divine count increased like 5. I can easily get there in one round total.
I mean, that's the idea of normal PoE, right? You actually just grind maps, do content that some people do content that makes them money, and then you just sell the things that you find. If you're expecting raw divine to actually drop for you like how it drops in Dota, I think you're in for a disappointing time, right? Yeah. And yeah, I think currently I'm just thinking of what skills I want to play. Like, do you guys have any favorite spells or attack that you guys like to play but haven't got the chance to play?
Actually, I like SRS, even though Poison SRS is a strong one, and I recommend Poison SRS to a lot of people. I've never actually played Poison SRS. Yeah, because it's too popular, and Elite start, it gets quite expensive. So that's partially why I don't play SRS. But I guess now should be quite affordable, I think. So maybe I might run a SRS build. Yeah.
I still want to try the Aqueous mask with the Eternal Apple. So most probably that one will be a 15 going for max fire rest for defenses, right? And I still probably as in other than volcanic fissure, there's not really much else. Maybe Cons Path. I'm not too sure. Cons Path sucks without the like percent strength stacking. So what other slam skills? The new Thunder is okay, I guess. Or the Earth Shatter, because Earth Shatter will generate the spike sting, and then your apple will shout for you, and then the spike will burst. Something like that. Thinking about it.
I mean, for slam builds generally, I feel that the stronger slams that I would see videos on personally are let's not talk about volcanic fissure. Volcanic fissure is just slam version of molten strike. So for that build, you actually just the key item is actually not the mask and the shield. The key item is Nimis, right? Let's be honest. Then if you're talking about like real slam, maybe Ice Crash. Ice Crash is good. Because every third hit you'll be a very big hit, right? Then I don't know if Perforate is a slam skill, but I believe Perforate has one of the best single target in the game. Yeah, because you actually just you just use the blood stance one, and then you just keep going at the and all the spikes once it hits the enemy. This Perforate I've seen some disgusting videos on Perforate. the Impale version, very strong. I'm not sure about how you want to scale this, right? But yeah, we just check Perforate is a slam. So look at the damage effectiveness, see if it makes sense for your build. But yeah, Perforate has always been one of I think my favorite kind of slam skill, but it's not a skill to clear. It sucks to clear. Yeah.
I mean, the sand stance of Perforate kind of clearish. And then I have also no idea what weapon am I going to use, or am I going to go face break?
Yeah, face breakers, not that worth it. Yeah.
This is the most funny thing because out of the three of us, two of us has made Mageblood, and one is thinking to use Mageblood to play a slam skill. I can't believe that.
It's the only way to make slams viable, man.
I'm not sure if people should be sad or offended by that sentence, right? I don't think we actually care, because slam people shouldn't be playing slam skills, right? Okay. Let's be objective, right? We don't think that slam skills are bad. It's just that slam skills used to be good, and then they remove seismic cry. They kind of nerf seismic cry to a place where people are not playing slams anymore because of the nerf. And I think when they added the slam tag to some of the melee skills, and if you check most of the melee skills with the slam tag, their default attack speed is actually slower than normal. Like for the Perforate is 80% of base. You don't actually have a lot of attack speed really, and you still cut your attack speed because you want to do a chunky hit. I think it defeats the purpose. And I don't think slam has been buffed for the last few patches, so it's still a bit live to be desired. I think still got chance to be buffed. Yeah, and I don't think just because you got a Mageblood you can track through the differences between a meta skill and a non-meta slam skill.
I think there's only one melee skill left in the game, and it's called Bone Shatter. Anything else is kind of subpar. Yeah.
I kind of agree and disagree at the same time because I played Molten Strike this week and it's awesome. But I do understand that Molten Strike, although it has a melee tag, is actually not a melee skill. Just like a Lightning Strike, right? Both of them are melee skill because you technically have to have a melee weapon, but you don't actually do damage with the melee portion of the skill. So yeah, so I agree that Bone Shatter is actually one of the only remaining melee skill. But to say that it's the only one that's viable, maybe you are leaving Molten Strike and Lightning Strike out of the picture, which they are also tagged as melee. But the more observant players will know that I'm bullshitting because Molten Strike and Lightning Strike is actually projectile, right? Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Bone Shatter is more like shockwave, not melee strikes. So you could say that Bone Shatter is not melee either.
Actually, why haven't we explored the possibility that Molten Strike and Lightning Strike can go with trauma support? Has it not been a thing? Because trauma support actually supports strike skills, from what I understand. Yeah, so why haven't we thought about that yet? Maybe there's something to do with trauma, because trauma stacking actually means that you hit faster and faster with more trauma stacks, and I believe it gives you flat fees, right? So generally, I think it still scales the same thing. It's just that, yeah, you get more and more attack speed.
Wait, I actually haven't played a Bone Shatter build, but don't most Bone Shatter builds stop at like 8 trauma or something like that?
I believe most of the Bone Shatter, they will just go as high as possible, especially if they're going for divergent version of Bone Shatter, because divergent actually gives you so much more attack speed. Then it is just within their okay. So the thing about Bone Shatter is you just have to mitigate the damage, and normally to do that they use Juggernaut. Because Juggernaut gives you the ability to regen physical damage that you take. Regen as life. So they will play Juggernaut. Yeah. I seldom see Bone Shatter being played on any other classes. Maybe Slayer. Because Slayer still has Overleech. But it's either Slayer or Juggernaut. I've not seen people play Bone Shatter on any other builds, to be honest.
Small tidbit for people who don't play Bone Shatter. Turns out, I have a friend who I recommended Bone Shatter to. So he played both the Slayer and the Juggernaut versions of it. So if at low investments, Bone Shatter Slayer is actually better, easier for people to play as well. But for higher investments and once you put a little bit more gear into it, Bone Shatter Juggernaut is way better. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe we can explore. Actually, we should try to look at the new support gems and maybe do something about it, right? Or should we talk about the Flamewood support? Currently Flamewood support has a very big use case, which is you use the Black Zenith glove to play a decoy totem, right? Was it decoy? Yeah. So you actually don't get the projectile reduction in levels with the downside of Black Zenith glove, but you actually get a lot of projectiles from Flamewood. Yeah. So I think this will get nerfed, but for any people who is enjoying people who enjoy to abuse builds that is specifically league by league, I think you can explore Black Zenith with Flamewood. It's a very strong build.
Did they explain why they don't use Vow Ancestral War Chief for this?
I think Wufio has explained about it, but I can't really remember.
I think Vow Ancestral War Chief is basically it's still a Vow version of skill, so it means that you actually require souls. It's not sustainable the way I see it, unless you are playing some Mega Soul Reaper build. That means you can permanently sustain your Vow skills, but if not, I think just make it the damage is already there, so you really only need a skill that you can constantly spam. So maybe decoy is the one to go, or maybe even not decoy, you can go rejuve, right? Rejuve totems, who knows? You just need a totem that hits that can help you tank, because that is how you trigger Flamewood, right? Yeah, so with that you can actually just go crazy with Black Zenith. And I believe, although this is not as broken as Totem Explode in Crucible, but I think it's close. Because I've seen people use this build to clear Ruthless hardcore bosses.
Actually, do they run Chieftain? Because there's one benefit of Decoy Totem over the other totems is that if you are not a Chieftain or if you don't take the Chieftain Taunt node, it actually doesn't matter. Because Decoy Totems taunt, right? So you no longer need the Chieftain Totem node in order to get people to hit the totem.
But the taunt node is not a problem because the mastery has taunt also. But although a very short period of time, yeah, but it's still taunts. So I'm not sure if it works lah. But I think generally people use Chieftain because it scales. Because if I'm not wrong, Flamewood is a spell, and Flamewood is a spell, right? They will go Chieftain and they'll on RF. Yeah, to boost the spell damage from Flamewood.
Yeah, but you could do that on any class.
But max rare scaling, the easiest is Chieftain, because it's a free melding out of flesh.
I mean, that's true, but if you wanted to bring it up a little bit more, Inquisitor makes sense also to me.
Yes, Inquisitor can do this as well. Yeah. But I think this build is a more exclusive Ruthless build, because you only need one glove to make the build work. If you are talking about trade league, nobody actually plays this build, because Flamewood definitely like what we are discussing just now, Flamewood is not going to win Corey. No way. Yeah, no way. You don't have defenses that Corey has, right? And this glove is not going to beat my Modern Strike. character. Definitely not. For us that spend like 200, 300 plus divines into a build, this build is not going to win.
Oh, so it's for me. The build is for me.
I mean, you can try out. I don't think the glove is expensive. And the fact that you can also get corruption on this glove means the level of your, I believe totem level do increases the life, right? So you can get a few decent corruption there. Maybe spell crit. If you're playing crit, you can go crit. If not, you can go elemental overload. Yeah, you can get a plus level to your totems, plus level to something to your support gems. Especially it's the support gem. Support gem is the one that gives you the damage also. So you definitely want a +1 to all gems, and +2 to projectile. If it even is a corruption, I'm not sure, right? So yeah, you can try to get those on the Black Zenith. Okay, but do take note, the drop rate of Black Zenith is as good as the Maxu Hotter Shield. It's the same thing. Not many people farm this boss. And I remember farming this boss, the glove is actually quite rare. So we've been talking. We have just been rambling on about our complaints about the league actually. So actually we would like to talk more about do we want to talk about speculation of next league?
Actually, there's not much to speculate, right, for now, so it's quite hard.
GG didn't drop any kind of hints on what they'll be doing next league, and I think for now we are just looking forward to the events, even though I'm not really looking forward to events unless there's free mystery box, and I hope the challenge is not too difficult. We also want to talk about farming builds and strategies, but I think for this we might not have enough time to go extensively talk about farming builds and strategies. So maybe for the next episode we will talk about maybe we can classify into different time frame. We can do the early league farming strategies and builds, and we can do maybe mid league farming builds and strats, and maybe even I think for the 2 weeks to come it will be considered late in the league already because it's like 2 months in, and maybe we can talk about what are some of the things that you can do if you are coming in 2 months into the league. I think you should definitely play, especially if it's a good league. And if you are playing at that point of time, what you can do to maximize your divine per hour game. Right. I think we should have enough experience to talk about that. But of course, everybody can have different preferences in their farming strategy. So whatever that we suggest here might not be the best, but it's just something that we would like to tell you that we enjoy. And maybe if you enjoy the similar play style, you can go try it out yourself. Don't be too stressed if you can't match to our divine per hour. I think sometimes for some leagues you are just lucky, and for some leagues you are not that lucky. Yeah, so try not to be swayed by streamers that can promise you 10 div per hour if you follow their strat. Generally it doesn't work that way, because most of the streamers, they are using bulk selling tool anyway, and only under that circumstances you can actually price your things higher than what they should be worth. And I think people need to take that into consideration when they are doing div per hour comparisons.
Well, today's shorter podcast. Hopefully, we will have more interesting things and a longer podcast the next week. Right. This is Bias Opinions and signing out.
Okay. If you stick so far into the podcast, you can also like, share, and subscribe our podcast. And this will be me signing out. I'm Big L. See you.
Okay, bye.